Hello, Virgo. The concrete exhales at midnight. Level B4 of the parking structure where you used to meet them both separately, you thought, but now you understand. The architecture of coincidence was never accidental. Smells like exhaust, and the particular cold that only exists underground, the cold that has no memory of the sun. You are standing between two empty spaces, space 247, where your person used to park, space 248, where your friend always pulled in 5 minutes later, always with a coffee for you, always with that smile that said, I am on your side. You thought the timing was innocent. You thought the overlap was geography. You thought a lot of things that turned out to be the scaffolding they built to keep you looking up while they were digging beneath your feet. You found out the way Virgos always find out. Not through drama, not through some cinematic confrontation with shattered glass and slammed doors. You found out through a detail, a receipt, a timestamp, a story that did not align by exactly 11 minutes. Your mind, which everyone mistakes for a calculator, is actually a forensic instrument. It does not look for lies, it looks for misalignment. It notices when the grain of the wood changes direction. It notices when the breath behind the words shifts frequency, and you noticed. You noticed that your person and your friend had been sharing something that was not just information, but complicity. They had been using the same script on you, the same excuses, the same deflections, the same careful management of your expectations, calibrated in separate conversations that now, in hindsight, look like coordinated maneuvers. Maybe your friend covered for the affair. Maybe your person confided in your friend instead of you, turning your confidant into an accomplice. Maybe they both took from you simultaneously, one draining your heart, one draining your trust, each believing their theft was invisible because the other was happening in parallel. The specific geometry does not matter. What matters is the double impact. The way a body can survive one knife wound but cannot survive two in the same breath. The way a foundation can absorb one earthquake but crumbles when the fault lines cross. You did not collapse outwardly. That is not your style. You collapsed inward, like a star consuming its own fuel, and for weeks you became very small and very bright in the privacy of your own room. You went to work, you answered texts, you performed the version of yourself that the world required. But inside, you were conducting an autopsy on two relationships at once, and the smell of that surgery stayed on your hands no matter how many times you washed them. And now the phones are ringing. Not simultaneously. That would be too theatrical. They are staggered. Your person first, 3 days ago, with a voice that sounded like gravel and regret. They are in trouble, not abstract trouble. Specific, logistical, I need someone who knows how to fix this trouble. Their life has developed a leak, and they are holding out a bucket with your name on it. Then your friend, yesterday, with tears that arrived too fast to be entirely spontaneous, with a crisis that sounds suspiciously like the consequences of their own choices finally arriving at the door. Both of them, within the same week, reaching for the same Virgo, reaching for the hands that organize, the mind that solves, the heart that, they believe, cannot say no to someone in need. They want back in. not because they have healed what they broke, but because they have discovered, in the cold light of their own self-inflicted disasters, that your absence is a tax they can no longer afford. Let us be excruciatingly precise about what is happening here, because precision is your love language, and you deserve to have this read in a way that honors your exactitude. Your person betrayed you. This is a fact. Whether it was infidelity, emotional abandonment, or the quieter betrayal of treating your devotion like a renewable resource they could drain while giving nothing back, they crossed a line. And your friend, the one who was supposed to be the witness to your life, the one who held your hair when you were sick and your secrets when you were scared, either participated in that crossing or stood aside and let it happen. They became a spectator to your injury, or a coach to the person inflicting it. They turned your trust into a currency they could spend elsewhere. And now both of them are standing in the rubble of their own making, holding out their hands and asking you to rebuild them. This is not a coincidence. This is a pattern exposing itself. You have always been the fixer, the reliable one, the person who shows up with the toolkit and the timeline and the solution that nobody else could see. You do not panic. You do not flinch. You assess, you diagnose, you repair. And both of them, your person and your friend, built their lives around your competence, the way ancient civilizations built their cities around a freshwater spring. They drank from you. They watered their gardens with your energy. They assumed the spring was infinite because it never ran dry. But what they did not see was the cost of your consistency. They did not see the nights you spent replenishing yourself alone. They did not see the way you postponed your own crises to manage theirs. They saw the output, not the infrastructure. And when they betrayed you, they believed they were only damaging one relationship. They did not understand that they were damaging your entire ecosystem. Now the drought has reached them. Your person is discovering that without you, their life does not organize itself. The bills pile up, the emotions scatter, the future loses its outline. They are living in a blur of their own making, and the only sharp thing they can remember is your voice, your clarity, your ability to make the complex feel manageable. They are not missing your heart, Virgo. They are missing your function. They are missing the way you made their chaos legible. And in their desperation, they have confused their need for your competence with love. Your friend is discovering something worse. They are discovering that a friendship built on your loyalty cannot be replaced by fair weather acquaintances. They are discovering that the people who cheered while they betrayed you have no intention of sticking around for the cleanup. They are discovering that the secrets they traded for status, the alliances they formed at your expense, have delivered them to a loneliness that tastes exactly like the loneliness they sentenced you to. And now they want back into the warmth. Not because they have become better people, but because they have become colder people, and they remember that you were the only source of heat that did not ask for payment. You need to hear this next part with both ears open. They do not want you back. They want your utility back. They want the version of you that held them together, the version that edited their resumes at midnight, the version that talked them off ledges while your own footing was uncertain, the version that pretended not to notice when they took credit for your ideas, when they arrived late to your events, when they minimized your achievements to make their own mediocrity feel less dim. They want the Virgo who served, and they are calling it love because I need you sounds more romantic than I need what you do for me. But Virgo, you are not a utility. You are not a service provider. You are not the emergency contact for people who have proven they will not answer when you call. And the fact that both of them are reaching out in the same season is not the universe testing your compassion. It is the universe testing your boundaries. It is asking if you have finally learned that loyalty without reciprocity is not a virtue, it is a hostage situation. Let me describe the specific texture of their outreach, because you are probably already receiving it, and you need to recognize the choreography. Your person is using nostalgia. They are sending you memories like care packages. Remember I was just thinking about that time. They are trying to reactivate the bond, not by addressing the betrayal, but by bypassing it. They believe that if they can remind you of the good times, you will forget that they poisoned the well. They are not offering repair. They are offering amnesia. And attached to every nostalgic text is a thin, sharp thread of need. I am so lost right now. I do not know what to do. You were always the only one who understood me. These are not confessions of love. These are job postings. They are advertising a vacancy in their life, and the job description is written in your handwriting. Your friend is using guilt. They are framing their crisis as a consequence of their love for you, or their confusion, or their mistake. They are asking for your advice, your ear, your shoulder, as if the shoulder they stabbed has healed enough to be leaned on again. They are testing the waters with vulnerability that costs them nothing. I have been thinking about what I did. I miss our friendship. I am going through something and you are the only person I can talk to. Notice the entitlement. Notice the assumption that your emotional labor is still available for purchase with counterfeit currency. Notice that they are not asking if you are okay. They are assuming you are okay enough to carry them again. And here is the trap that is custom built for Virgo energy. You are wired to help. Your first instinct when you see someone in pain is to reach for the wound. It is not masochism. It is architecture. You are built to be useful, to be of service, to leave things better than you found them. And that wiring does not distinguish between a stranger in a car accident and a person who ran you over. Your hands will reach before your mind has finished the risk assessment. Your mouth will say, "Tell me what happened," before your heart has decided if it is safe to listen. You are a first responder by nature, and first responders do not check IDs before administering CPR. But this is not an emergency. This is a reckoning. And you are not the paramedic, you are the survivor. You need to understand what happens to your nervous system if you say yes, if you answer the call. If you let them back in because their sadness looks sincere, because their crises look urgent, because some part of you still believes that forgiveness means reopening the door. If you say yes, your body will record the betrayal a second time, not the original betrayal, the secondary betrayal, the betrayal you commit against yourself when you prioritize their comfort over your safety. Your sleep, which has only recently returned to its deeper registers, will thin again. Your digestion, which has been settling since you cut them out, will not. Your skin will speak. Your jaw will ache. Your dreams will return to the old architecture of anxiety, where you are searching for something you lost while running from something that is chasing you. And the worst part, they will not notice. They will receive your help, stabilize their lives, and then leave again. Because people who betray you once have already proven that your well being is not a variable in their decision making. They will take what they need, rebuild on your foundation, and then look for a replacement that does not remind them of their guilt. You cannot help your way back to being valued. Let that sink past the bone and into the marrow. You cannot solve their problems generously enough to make them respect you. You cannot organize their chaos thoroughly enough to make them faithful. You cannot love them back into integrity. Integrity is not a gift you can give. It is a standard they must meet. And right now, they are not meeting it. They are meeting you with need, with regret, with the performance of contrition, but they are not meeting you with change. They are not showing up with the evidence of transformation. They are showing up with empty hands and expecting you to fill them again because that is what you have always done. So what does real change look like? How do you know if either of them deserves a second glance, let alone a second chance? Real change arrives quietly. It does not announce itself with emergencies. It does not ask for your help before it has helped itself. Real change from your person would look like months of consistent accountability undertaken without your supervision, therapy, honest work, a life that is stable not because you are managing it, but because they are finally managing themselves. And then, only then, a request for your presence, not your labor, not your rescue, but your presence. Real change from your friend would look like an apology that centers your pain, not their guilt. An acknowledgement of the specific ways they failed you, without excuses. A period of distance so respectful it almost hurts, during which they prove, through action and not words, that they have become capable of the loyalty they once faked. You are not seeing that. You are seeing panic. You are seeing two people who treated your love like a public utility suddenly discovering that the power has been shut off, and now they are standing in the dark, calling your name, asking you to flip the switch. Do not flip the switch. The dark is theirs to navigate. The mess is theirs to sort. The consequences of their choices are not a crisis you are obligated to manage. And your compassion, which is vast and real and one of the truest things about you, does not have to express itself through proximity. You can wish them well from a distance. You can hope they heal without being the hospital. You can forgive them in your heart without reinstalling them in your life. Forgiveness is not access. Forgiveness is not a key to the door you have finally learned to lock. Forgiveness is the release of the debt, not the extension of new credit. Virgo, you need to hear something that might sound like cruelty, but is actually the deepest kindness anyone has offered you in this season. You are not responsible for the disasters that people create after they leave you. Your person's current sadness is not your fault. Your friend's current isolation is not your emergency. They are not drowning because you stopped throwing them rope. They are drowning because they never learned to swim, and they expected you to be their life raft forever. But you are not a raft, you are a shore, and shores do not chase the ships that wreck themselves. Shores simply remain solid, boundary, real. And if a ship wants to dock again, it must arrive in seaworthy condition, with its holes repaired, its cargo honest, and its captain willing to follow the harbor rules. You have harbor rules now. You did not have them before. Before, you let anyone dock, anyone refuel, anyone dump their waste in your waters and sail away cleaner. But the betrayals taught you something that no self-help book could have installed. They taught you that your waters are precious, that your ecosystem is fragile, that the creatures who live in your depths, your trust, your vulnerability, your hope cannot survive pollution, and now you have rules. No dumping, no unauthorized entry, no ships that have proven they will crash into your pier and blame you for the damage. Your person wants back in because they are sad. Your friend wants back in because they are scared. Sadness and fear are real emotions. They are not fake, but they are not sufficient. They are not currency. They are not evidence. They are simply the natural consequence of losing something valuable, and feeling the loss does not entitle them to regain the thing they broke. A child who smashes a vase feels sad about the shards. That sadness does not reassemble the porcelain. And you, Virgo, are not obligated to lie on the floor and let them cut you again while they apologize for the bleeding. You are allowed to say no to both of them in the same breath, without explanation, without a PowerPoint presentation of your reasons. Without the meticulous defense brief, you are probably drafting in your head right now, listing every infraction, every lie, every moment they chose themselves over you. You do not owe them a case file. You do not owe them closure, wrapped in your labor. Your no does not need a bibliography. It can be simple, it can be silent, it can be the absence of a response that speaks louder than any paragraph you could construct. But if you must speak, if the pressure builds until words are necessary, let them be short, let them be final. I cannot help you, not I do not want to, not I am still angry, just I cannot. Because the truth is, you cannot help them without harming yourself. You cannot be their solution without becoming your own problem. You cannot pour from a cup that they cracked, and you cannot repair the crack while they are still drinking from it. The double betrayal was a demolition. It was meant to destroy you, or at least to diminish you. But demolitions reveal foundations, and your foundation, Virgo, is older than their lies. It is bedrock. It is the part of you that kept functioning when your heart was screaming. The part that went to work, that fed yourself, that paid the bills, that held your own head above water when both of them were pushing you under. That foundation is not just intact, it is stronger, because now you know exactly where the fault lines are. Now you know that your love must be seismic proof. Now you know that anyone who wants access to your architecture must submit to inspection, must prove they can withstand the pressure of your truth, must demonstrate that they are not just looking for shelter, but are willing to build alongside you. Your person and your friend did not build alongside you. They built on top of you. They used your back as a foundation and then complained about the view. And now that the structure has collapsed, they want to move back in before the dust has settled. They want to set up camp in the ruins and call it reconciliation. Do not let them. The ruins are sacred. They are the evidence of what you survived. And you are not a landlord desperate for tenants. You are a temple, and the temple does not beg for worshipers. It simply stands. It simply shines. It simply waits for the ones who arrive with clean hands and full hearts, who remove their shoes at the threshold, who understand that the ground they are walking on was consecrated by your pain and your perseverance. Both of them need your help. Let that need find its own resolution. Let them discover what you discovered, that you are capable of surviving without the people you thought you could not live without. Let them learn the lesson you learned in the dark, that the only help that truly matters is the help you give yourself, that the only rescue that lasts is the one you perform with your own hands, in your own time, on your own terms. You are not a rehabilitation center for people who destroyed your trust. You are not a bank for emotional loans that will never be repaid. You are not the backup plan for two people who treated you like an option. You are the plan. You have always been the plan. And the time has come to invest your precision, your care, your formidable capacity for repair into the one project that has always deserved it: the construction of a life where no one who has betrayed you ever gets a second key. Let them knock. Let them ring. Let them send their apologies and their emergencies and their carefully crafted performances of remorse. Let the phones buzz in the drawer. Let the texts pile up like leaves against a door you no longer open. Let them learn in the only language they finally understand absence that what they broke was not a toy, it was a trust. And trust, once incinerated, does not regenerate because someone is sad. The help desk is closed. The emergency room has new staff. The bridge they burned is still burning, and you are not the fire department. You are the horizon they cannot reach without growing wings. And growing wings, as you know better than anyone, takes more than wanting. It takes work. It takes time. It takes a humility so profound it reshapes the spine. Let them work. Let them wait. Let them prove, if they can, that they are capable of becoming people who would never have done what they did. And if they cannot, if their growth is just another performance, if their sadness is just another manipulation dressed in vulnerability, then let them remain in the stories you tell as cautionary tales. Let them be the evidence of your discernment. Let them be the graves from which your boundaries grew. You are rare, Virgo, not because you are perfect, because you are precise, and precision, applied to the architecture of your own heart, builds doors that only open for the worthy. Keep the door locked. Keep your hands clean. Keep your help for the ones who never needed to ask for it because they were too busy earning it. The rest is silence. Let them learn to read it.